I paid a researcher to sign up for Incogni for a full week so that I could update my Incogni review with the most up-to-date information possible. When it comes to identity theft protection, it can be tricky to provide a fully in-depth review without involving other people in the testing process. I have personally signed up for Incogni, DeleteMe, and Optry, and I also use a traditional identity theft protection service like Aura. But the challenge with services like data broker removal is that once you sign up, the service removes your information from these sites and actively works to keep it off. That makes it difficult to replicate a first-time experience without reversing the process, which would mean opting back into having my personal information posted publicly again. Not going to do that. So for the sake of this review, I had someone else sign up as a new user to better capture what the experience looks like from day one. The first clip he sent me is 4 minutes long, and it looks like, okay, yeah, this is just him signing up. Since this is pretty boring to watch, let's just talk about Incogni for a second while he fills out all his forms. Incogni is a data removal service designed to help individuals remove their personal information from data broker websites. These websites often host sensitive real-world information such as your address, your phone number, and financial or your health records. The service aims to anonymize you and to prevent your information from leaking into the real world, thereby reducing the risks of spam, scams, fraud, doxing, identity theft, and targeted phishing attacks. It operates by automatically sending deletion requests to data brokers on your behalf. The process of using Incogni is designed to be straightforward and largely automated. So initially, you provide Incogni with your full name, your address, phone number, and date of birth. You also have the option to add more information, such as alternate phone numbers, previous addresses, and multiple email addresses to expand its search capabilities. This is actually one of the most important steps that a lot of people overlook when they're setting up these services. To act as your representative and make requests on your behalf, Incogni requires you to grant them limited power of attorney by signing an online authorization form. This is the interesting part of the sign-up process, and here's that limited power of attorney section. Basically, because you're allowing this service to act on your behalf, you do need to sign a consent form. It's pretty boilerplate legal language, and if you have any concerns, you can let me know about them in the comments, but just know that this is pretty standard practice across all data broker removal sites. All right, and now he's in, and you get a chance to review your information before it can get started. Now, he's gonna go right to the start data removal, but the best way you can set yourself up for success when using one of these services is to actually add in more information. At this point, I assume most people have a second email or a previous address. So any information that you can give it so that it can maximize how much it's removing is really helpful. Once you've completed the authorization, Incogni scans people search sites and other databases for your personal information. When records are found, it automatically sends removal requests to hundreds of data brokers. These requests cite relevant laws that compel data brokers to delete personal data upon request. The service covers over 210 to 250 major data brokers, with some sources stating over 170, though Incogni emphasizes removing information from private databases more than public ones, which can lead to a decline in spam calls, emails, and physical mail. All right, and his requests are in progress. Oh yes, he did find Incogni from a YouTube video, and I guess so did you. So clicking that would be really helpful. So he has now had 253 instances of records being identified, and 4 are already successful, which seems pretty instantaneous, but isn't all that uncommon really. Some data brokers they probably work with a lot and can get a pretty quick verified result right away. So here's where we'll jump ahead. I have a clip from exactly 1 week later that we'll go ahead and walk you through. All right, so he's logging back into his dashboard here, and all of the 249 requests that he sent, 73 were still in progress and 176 had been completed. This is what your dashboard looks like during active use. It'll still have that little promo code in the corner, and now he's looking at his full activity log. This is really just a list of the dates. What I would recommend is going to the detailed view, which shows all of the different databases, both private and public, that have had the removals. All right, so here you can see all the different databases, both private and public, that have had the removals. So you can see here that they're all marked by their different levels of severity. Some of the low severity options are usually just companies that will keep parts of your information for advertising purposes. whereas the high severity ones are stuff that are at a much higher risk for identity theft or are types of medical records. Now, you can tell from some of the names that some of these do even sound a little bit scarier than others. So he's actually going to check one of his right now, privaterecords.net. Let's see if they can find him. Okay, so he went to the site, he put in his name, and okay, so there are a few matches with his exact name, but knowing him, I can verify that he's never lived in any of these places, nor did they have his middle initial correct. So actually, it looks like Incogni did exactly what it's supposed to do. This is a website that retains people's private records and allows you to search for them. And lo and behold, even though he is actually pretty easy to find online, this removal request did work as advertised. So he's going back to his dashboard now, and as you can see, he's going to take us to some of his highest severity removal requests. And looking at some of his highest severity removal requests, what is nice about Incogni is that they do give a little bit of an explanation as to what the service is and why it's marked as severe. So you can see here from this one that it's still in progress, that they submitted the request on July 9th. And on average, it'll take about 41 days to get your information removed from what's called aged lead score. You can see in the description that this provides prospect data for financial services firms in 48 states, such as auto and health insurance and mortgage websites, and claims to have data on over 280 million consumers. Well, that's good because I've never heard of them. Data brokers can take up to 45 days or longer to comply with a removal request, which is why patience is really important even with these services. Even after initial removal, data brokers often republish personal information or they acquire new data from other sources. So this is why Incogni continuously rescans and sends out fresh waves of removal requests pretty regularly. This ensures that your information is kept off these sites on an ongoing basis. The service also tracks down and adds new data brokers to its list over time, which is crucial as new companies enter the space constantly. Users can monitor the status of each removal request through a comprehensive dashboard, which shows metrics like requests sent, in progress, and completed. The dashboard provides details such as the specific websites, their associated risks, and compliance scores. And if you're on an upper tier plan, if you find a service that you'd like to just use Incogni to submit a request on your behalf, they do have custom options, which is kind of cool. The dashboard interface is generally pretty user-friendly with interactive tutorials that help new users to understand what they're looking at. The detailed activity log shows specific dates and actions taken, while the detailed view breaks down each database by severity level, and it provides context about why certain removals are more critical than others. So again, this is why it's important to have these services active, because so many of these companies operate not necessarily in the shadows, but as subsidiaries of companies that you're familiar with. So when you do things like join loyalty rewards programs or you sign up for new social media pages, a lot of times these third-party companies will legally buy portions of your data that then become available to build profiles on you. Submitting these data broker removal requests is a huge way to protect your overall identity, and Incogni does a really good job of breaking down exactly what it's doing as it's doing it. With data broker removal services, there is a degree of somewhat blind faith that you have to have in the process, that all of these things are both potential risks and that you're getting the best possible coverage. But like with the other services, they do put on their dashboard the number of hours that they've saved you, and really, that's what this all comes down to. Incogni is a strong choice for data broker removal, offering flexible monthly and annual plans, unlike competitors like DeleteMe, which only offers annual options. Pricing is generally more affordable, and it can be bundled with Surfshark's One Plus plan, which, by the way, includes a VPN, antivirus, ad blocking, and ID protection, often lowering the overall cost. Incogni is backed by the trusted team behind Surfshark and NordVPN, both of them known for their privacy-first practices. For most people starting out their privacy journey, Incogni hits just the right balance of affordability, coverage, and ease of use. And there's a discount code in the description to help you get started.